one of my biggest concerns was an insider threat. All of the incredible efforts that had been put into place by this agency following 9/11 could be brought down by the efforts of one person who decided to not perform their functions, their mission, and whether it's drugs or whether it's illegal aliens or whether it's just someone coming here to find a job or terrorist, we could not allow that insider threat to bring us down. And so we created and built a more robust internal affairs office. I don't care how big you are, how well funded, it takes working together, and not just with our foreign partners, but even within the Department of Homeland Security.
We are the first joint border management agency that has ever been created in actually across the world and in world history, that takes the traditional functions of customs clearance, immigration admissibility, agricultural inspection, and actually created a joint border management under the rubric of national security. We actually, in the space of 10 years, have created, and CBP is at the forefront of this, the whole notion of a homeland. Americans were never comfortable with the notion or the concept of a homeland. We were, as Commissioner Basham reminded us, sidebar, we were protected by two massive oceans with two neighbors that were friendly, both to the north in Canada and to the south in Mexico. We hadn't fought wars with our neighbors in the case of Canada since the 18th century, and with Mexico since the middle of the 19th century. So we really had no concept of homeland security. Our borders were relatively open. We didn't think in terms of borders, and suddenly, particularly since the sense of violation, 9/11 among other things, was a genuine violation, an invasion of our country and a violation of our borders. So we needed to think about border protection as a doctrine, homeland security as an enterprise. And we started to do that. When a passenger gets on a plane in Schiphol on the way to the United States, that's where our borders begin. And the challenges that we've faced in terms of securing the flows of people and goods toward the homeland, developing a doctrine of homeland security as a species of national security, has involved this concept of advance information, which is then analyzed and risk assessed, and then we attempt to segment the traffic so that we can use our scarce resources at the last line of defense, which is actually the physical ports of entry, the 330 seaports, airports, and land ports around the country. Our border with Mexico has been the project of a 20-year effort, beginning in the early 1990s. And I think what will become apparent over the next year, Professor Hoffman, is that the last chapter in that first phase is about to end in Arizona. The notion that we can secure the border, not seal it, not shut it down, but secure it is something that is underway as a result of the magnificent effort of 10% of CBP.
And I would submit that the Unified Border Agency, Customs and Border Protection, is probably the best idea that came out of the Homeland Security reorganization.
It was more than just tactical infrastructure. It was the right level of staffing on the ground. It was tactical, but also technology.
We actually need to be concerned with not fighting the last war. That's a classic mistake that is made in history that we should attempt to avoid. And I really won't. We do have vulnerabilities, and there are gaps. Small boats is one of them. We've made enormous gains in terms of general aviation and the security of that process.